let's get everything set up. Oh, it looks like my internet is just gone. All right, hopefully it's back. Oh. Tournament. Okay, so hopefully things load at some point. This is a very slow start. I don't know why I kept this hand. Ken Tenma, okay. All right, Gamble voice pad. So we're gonna draw. We're gonna draw. We're gonna make a new remote, and then we're gonna try and reload the page. All right. Press the Hagen. Oh, well, that's not when we wanted to see the Vacheron. A little early for that, honestly. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. Can you give me the rejoin? There we go. All right. Hopefully this is working better. Fantastic. Okay. So let's draw hedge fund, install on server 1. All right. So I thought I didn't have a black background anymore, but apparently I do in tournament mode. But let's see. All right, so we are definitely down. I'm basically playing a standard PD list, putting in 2 toll booths, where there are sometimes stuff like border controls and Chrysium grids. And I have 3 Tranquility grids and 3 Nico campaigns. So we're going to draw here, install this in server 1, and we're going to take a credit. Once we can get this Tranquility grid, Spin Doctor, and get a second piece of ice, probably a toll booth. Maybe even just the magnet, actually, now I think about it. That should probably be enough. We're going to gain 2. Might do the magnet here, just so I can start rushing earlier. And then we're going to click for a credit. Because we've actually got very expensive ice down right now and not a ton of econ. But yeah, for those of you tuning in, which probably won't be many people yet, but there was an odd number of people in my startup tournament, so I'm playing until someone drops, and then I will probably drop as well. All right, opponent's just going to keep running HQ. I don't particularly mind this. But try and resume my more or less monthly startup tournaments, just to try and get my real goal is to, 1, get new people into the scene, monthly-ish with a short hiatus for the back half of last year. That's what it is. I don't really care about them accessing HQ, honestly. I think I just, yeah, if they want to run through a brand repeatedly with a corroder, I think I'm okay with that. I might even overwrite the Spin Doctor. Okay, so we now have Super Scary Remote. So basically our next goal is put an agenda or put another piece of ice on R&D so it's safe for the rest of the game. So it's probably going to be Toll Booth. And we really need to draw an agenda. So we're going to draw here. We're going to put this on R&D. And then let's overwrite the Spin Doctor because we've got more. So I'd rather not just do it for hedge funds. Hedge funds are pretty low value. I'm hoping to try and start baiting some inside job style tricks here. Okay, we're seeing a Swift. Oh, I should have asked if people wanted to have deep dive legal. That would have been fun, but we're gonna draw. We're gonna just draw 0 agendas. Okay. Just playing the slowest game of all time. That's probably of benefit to the runner, though we do have a relatively substantial credit lead. It does feel like I forgot to put agendas. I feel like I have very bimodal distributions of agendas where I either draw all of my agendas or none of my agendas. So, you know, that's definitely how I'm feeling. This is definitely feeling like one of those data points, but all right. So lots of discards here. So there's a buffer drive. Overclock. Losing an inside job is wild to me. It's a really good tool in this matchup. Okay. Well, so we're going to draw. I think I actually just overwrite the Nico campaign here. And I might just put a white space on archives just to turn off security testing, like dirty laundry, free clicks. So they need to put down 2 different types of breakers or inside job boomerang, and we still get the Manic Arm Void, so I'm feeling pretty safe here. I feel like a bit of a scumbag for just taking a standard precision design list and playing it in a startup tournament, but scumbag's gonna scum. That's all I'll say. And we'll discard a Trashable, I guess. This is actually, I think, one of the biggest tournaments I've run. I think there's 16 players, which is pretty wild. I actually think that makes it the biggest tournament. Oh no, there's 18 players, which is, I think, I mean, maybe as big as the other 2 tournaments today together. I didn't quite see how big RAM was, but that's pretty cool. Now, some of it is I think I chose a time slot that works better for the larger player base of Europe and NA rather than being C friendly. So like I can't just be like, oh, look at me, I'm so cool, because of that. So all right. Do I install another piece of ice here? I mean, why not, right? Probably want to make sure I can res it, but that's the only consideration. 4, 7, 13. All right. All right. Runners got their rig down. They're going to get econ going. So we will be playing Netrunner soon. Let's just seamless this. Because that way we can actually just get this back in the remote so it's never in HQ. Let's see. I res the white space, make them spend $1. No thanks. If they install a security testing, maybe, but up until that point. All right, so we're going to go for the hard agenda path of 4 scores, but it does make it quite hard for them to win in any kind of timely fashion. So. Oh my goodness, gaining 8 is so gross. Oh my goodness, why is this deck allowed? Oh, Ram had 14 players? Oh, that's pretty cool. I actually think that means it's the exact same size. Because I think the first one had 4, but that's cool. Nice to see that. I'm glad Ram was doing well, even though it was at an absolutely atrocious time for North Americans. And hey, Kushuk looking pretty solid here. If you can pay it twice this game, you might. You can definitely win here. There's the Luminal. Get the shuffle. So probably should have put a Void on R&D because that was the way we lose. So there's 1 Sandbox, 2 Off-Worlds, and a Vacheron left in the list. Oh, that's good to hear that the RAM was balanced. I'm a little bummed I missed it because I guess the last one was also balanced. Yeah, actually, I think Void Manigarm on both R&D and Server 1 is probably my way to go here. Even though they're all uniques, I think it's fine. What is it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So doesn't have the money to actually shoot again this turn, which is, I think, probably going to cost them the game. But it's cool to see that this card does some stuff, and maybe we should be playing some bigger access effects in Shaper. So. Yeah, I looked at the pool a little bit, and like nothing was screaming out to me. I saw it was what Creation Control and Rain and Reverie. So. Yeah, I have to imagine Sports Metal was the best deck to play on that side of the table. We're going to do this to gain 2. We're going to put this on R&D. Unless we're going to put this on R&D. Maybe I should have drawn a card instead, but I can just use the Spin Doctor res. What were the interesting whale decks? I did not have any time to look at RAM, so. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. Yes, let's go. Bing, bang. And now you could, in theory, challenge this remote with like an inside job, but it's going to be tricky. Wayland had a lot of barriers. No, had a lull all barriers deck even without rig shooting. Interesting. Okay, so what it's going to be is just res the Ansel, res nothing else. Because that basically means they can't trash everything in this remote, and that's all I really need. Yeah, they can trash the Void, but I don't care about the Void anymore. They can't realistically get back in next turn. Oh, okay. So it was just big money punitive kill. That's kind of fun. Um, Wonder what Dunch is thinking about here. Not sure. Well, that's kind of cool that Wayland had. There was that like strategy that I always think of as quite weak in standard, but is maybe pretty fine. Um, otherwise. Um, all right, we're gonna start the turn. Gonna res the Spin Doctor. Gonna draw a card. Oh my goodness. We're gonna draw a card. Oof. Oof. Oofa doofa. Okay. Well, I don't want to get a card in HQ. I mean, I guess I could, but I think I'd rather do something like Drafter on R&D, because it is quite annoying for Carmen and cheap for us. But all right, three results already in. Actually, a pretty even split, but yeah, that's one of the things I like definitely want to do is like the like how to get next level better at RAM is the like, oh, you have to look at what the meta breakers are available as well. Um, which is just like a level of analysis to do in 35 minutes. That's quite impressive to me. But hey, Von Kleitz, thanks for the follow. Hope you're having a nice time as I sort of putter my way through a format I don't play too much, but you do a few different builds, either all in on Game Changer or reg with MCA and Restore. Yeah, that makes some sense. Okay, we're going to shuffle back a Spin Doctor and a Nico campaign so that we can threaten more easily. We're going to install in server 1. We're going to draw a card. We're going to res Spin Doctor. Oh my goodness. I've got so many agendas in R&D here. Wow. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is lower the density slightly, which feels bad. And I want to try and break the runners back completely here. I forgot that if everyone's like actually the white space is quite bad in this format compared to Enigma. So that would be my first switch probably, but turn 1 fast or turn 2 fast run snipe hanging around our neck. All right, we see 1 class act in the heap. Maybe our opponent's not running quite enough. I don't know. 1 Earthrise. Yeah, those are the first draw cards. It seems like maybe our opponent got a little unlucky with their draw, which made it hard for them to keep up. All right. So here I think I do want to start resting ice because they're going to have credits. I don't think I actually rest the magnet though. So then I'm spending 4 to tax 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's relevant. I mean, it's better than the magnet, which is paying 3 to tax 2. I guess it's kind of the same, but I also have choices here. I probably actually want to keep. I can actually res the Managarm to then reinstall a Managarm kind of thing. But it's like the Nico bait worked. Oh, I need to hit continue to encounter ice. My bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go down to 2 credits. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trash the Managarm, res the Managarm. Actually, I don't think I even need to reinstall here. Okay, there we go. Gain 2. They're going to have a lot of recurring credits next turn. But we have the Void. I think I'm going to put this on R&D and click for a credit. All right, where are we doing this bravado? Makes sense. Yeah, I think if we had drawn our agendas earlier in the game, Dunn should be in a good position. But, you know, as much as I was complaining about them being on the bottom of the deck, the way this, I think the way startup runners decks work, maybe this is just too inevitable if you can get to this board state. Because you don't have a turning wheel to worry about. So, all right, well, that's a fun little confidence boost, I guess, but all right, actually just 2 games left, so that's pretty astounding. I actually quite like the Kashyyyks. I think runners need some powerful multi-access in startup because GameNet Glacier is, as much as I hate to admit is a thing, is definitely a thing. Um, but yeah, cool. Well, I guess I'll jump in and try and get one of these last 2 games. This is something that does happen actually a good amount of the time. We've got actually not that much time left, but um, all right. I apparently don't know the timer command. Um, oh, that's rough. They were running 5 draw cards and basically didn't see until the game was over. Okay, it should be dot show timers. Did I misspell something? No, I just must have misspelled something. So 11 minutes. Um, all right, so let's go see who's still playing. We've got Mondel and Sauce 3 and Fake Kenny and Ice Ox have not recorded. Let's try leaving the game. So I haven't heard of Fake Kenny or Ice Ox, so let's go watch. It looks like maybe it's gonna be NBN. Yep, GameNet versus Stealth Tau. Ooh. All right, so we've got Ice Ox on 3 points. Or I'm sorry, yeah, Ice Ox on Tau at 3 points. We've got um, quite the Tau rig. Anacam, Double Mantle, Penrose, SMC, Boomerang. Boomerang is on the Gold Farmer in HQ. There's very clearly been a daily quest ticking for much of the game here as GameNet's on 28 credits. They've got a singly advanced card in server 5 with an NAPD cordon. So that agenda is going to cost a minimum of 6 to steal. But quite honestly, Isox has the credits. They could go for it. They've got 14 credits, 2 clicks, a simul chip to reset the Penrose if they want to. Let's see if there's anything fun in their heap. Or tread lightly as some of the influence, which is an interesting spend. I like it. We're seeing some sprints from GameNet, which tells me they're trying to keep HQ pretty clear. Yeah, I guess Dunch doesn't like Dunch. You're right. JNet doesn't like you today. Also, for some reason, I did not put your name together. The 2 and 2 of your name in Twitch and your name on Aesop's tables together. So thanks for the game. It was a fun one. A little unfortunate. Like, I don't know. That PD deck to me feels pretty silly. And yeah, Dunch, I was talking with Simply the Onion earlier that what was I thinking? Oh, that JNet usually hates me and like will either give me no agendas or all my agendas and no in between. I've been playing some decks that have let's just say more than 10 agendas, but I will also put more than 10 ice in. But I always draw like I have ice equal to the number of agendas, like +2 or something. And I inevitably draw 5 agendas and 2 ice. And I'm just like, this is not right. I've offended someone. Um so all right. So we're boomeranging server 5, and presumably we're gonna run it last click and hope that it's not a trap. There's not too many bad traps for the runner here, I think. It's mostly just spending a lot of money. So the one thing that seems a little bit odd to me about this, I guess, was that like, oh, you could just flip a Penrose. Okay, so it's reversed accounts, so you don't need to pay the NAPD cost, and you save some money, which is probably a pretty reasonable exchange there. Yeah, this is a lot of servers for GameNet. I think GameNet can do 2 remotes, like a quest remote and a scoring remote, but I do think this is probably a little bit suboptimal. Oof. That's a tough one, Dunch. So, all right, double sprint. So, Fake Kenny is digging for something. Oh, okay. This must be a punitive game net list, I guess. So Iceox probably wants to come up with a plan to do. Actually, with Anacam, they can be safe as long as they have 4 events in hand. No, 3 events in hand is sufficient to be safe. But I feel like a singly iced daily quest isn't really that safe, especially to like a stealth shaper. But what do I know? I definitely don't know that much about this format, so hopefully this will be an opportunity for me to learn a bit. Apologies, I'm eating my lunches. Hopefully you guys can't hear too much, but I think you could, judging by the voice mirror. Okay, so we have Tread Lightly on server 2. Despite having 30 credits, Fake Kenny decides, nah, not going to res these ice for an extra 3. That's just too much. It might be because they have lethal here. Or think they have lethal. But, wow, just letting them all the way through. Alright, it's a Manic Arm. Isox is going to approach. If they pay 5. Oh, yeah, probably. It is a Bologna. Yep. And so nothing's going to happen. You can trash the Manic Arm, and I would say you kind of have to. But then you honestly can probably let the balloon through. I wonder what your R&D multi-access is that you're packing in this kind of shaper list. Um, um, all right, creative commission. Hard to keep the little shaper rabbit down. Um, it's funny though, because in theory, Izloxen basically, I mean, maybe they don't have another. I guess I could do it again, but there's no point to, because Fake Kenny will be able to make them spend enough credit. So I think you just let these 3 points go, start building towards your next, whatever your R&D plan is, because R&D is going to actually be relatively dense here, given that there's been 3 sprints played and only 6 points out of the 21 or out of the 20 points available are showing. There's going to be a lot of points in R&D here. I don't know if there's a real tag threat you have to respect, especially now that your resources are gone. Tau could be on basically anything. Stargate could make sense. We've seen, I think, 2 boomerangs, so that's 6 or 4, 5, 6. So there's lots of, we could guess there's maybe a 3rd boomerang, though I'm not sure. We could guess on a 3rd tread lightly. There definitely could be on Stargate. It's a little bit hard to know. They could also be on After Image. That would make sense to me. Which I think is what, like a 4 influence, maybe 3 influence. I guess I can look that up. I do have the internet at my fingertips. Okay, that's 3 influence. I would assume you're on After Image if you're on Mantle. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So lots of stealth credits. This honestly to me feels like it's probably unnecessary most of the time, but it is a gamble in some cases. Yep, 2 minutes left on the round. So Isox does need to make their plan for what their big R&D dig is going to be. Thinking a lot, but that, Game Net's a Glacier kind of slow grinder deck, so it, you do want to take your time thinking. Getting down a 3rd Mantle, so whenever ice gets res, it gets broken for free. It's just a question of when can you actually break ice and not die to punitive. Triple punitive probably. Actually, you know what? Maybe this isn't a punitive list because of the Managarm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could probably do double punitive, but yeah, no, I agree. Simply the Onion. Like, Net Recur is what Stealth is balanced around, and Net Recur is not in the format. To some extent, there's stuff in Startup that, like, you could say some things like that about other stuff, like, oh, the HB card. Well, the HB cards are not a great example, but like, oh, Jinteki is balanced around Oboe, which is not in the format, and we could say, oh, NBN's balanced around hard hitting news, which isn't in the format. So there's like some idea that these like everyone's being balanced around stuff that's not as good. But Stealth is such an insular archetype, I do kind of agree it's a little bit of an awkward position. Gotta watch the clock here. Oh, timer finished, so that's time on the round. Okay. I'm going to go to the other one. Oh, that looked like it was maybe the only one. Okay. Looks like everyone else is reported. So that's good. So this game comes down to if server 2 isn't an agenda, or if Isox accidentally dies here. But I don't think they have to. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like not having gatekeeper is a big deal for PD. Um, it might even be more pronounced in Borealis because there's a lot like Ashes is a very generic set to some extent. Like it Ashes feels a lot like Genesis to me. Um, and so like the mechanics, while there's a lot of words on cards, um, so that is a tie. All right. All right. So let's pair the round. Dun 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 dun. Let's go. All right. So just I'm typing into the chat, or into the Discord, but you can rematch, but it should be opposite sides. Please let me know if that isn't the case. Yeah, I think Ashes. I don't know that Ashes feels incomplete. It feels generic, I think is the word I'm looking for. Um, and we're going to play our Zaya list. Do we want to make any quick changes before we get started? Can I find it? Do I have to go to startup? By Zaya. Uh, let's let it ride. It's very finite on its number of accesses. We can't really do Cusick though. So we just gotta play really, really precisely, I think. So all right, but we're on table 2, waiting for D Smith. Um, but yeah. Hey Dunch. So no, it's not really allowed. Like all tournaments, we can't make changes. So thank you for calling me on that. I was only going to make them because I literally made my list right at the start, but you can't normally make changes in any tournament of any level. So I'm just being a jerk. Um, Fantastic. Let me look. 1, 2. Is there a table 3 up? Don't see a table 3. Let's see. Table 5, 6, 4, 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. So we're just waiting on table 3, it looks like. So There's table 3 up. And there's going. All right, we should be good to rock and roll. All right. Time to find out if this Xayah list is any good. I think it's solidly mediocre. I think... Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to take some dishes away while it seems like either my internet's not loading or we're just waiting on D-Smith. So. Alrighty. Oh, I get to play against this list that I think is not good. Okay, cool. The biggest concern here is that we might lose all of our breakers to random damage. Because there's snares here, and the idea of the list, I think, is you just keep putting snares on the top if you can score an early 4-2. So we could try and disrupt that early 4-2 plan. We can get breakers down early. It's probably going to be something like Gamble, Bagalter, Laundry, and Open Server. Maybe draw somewhere in there, so we don't just die to a snare on turn 1. Seems like an okay plan. I just don't particularly want to lose in such a silly manner so soon. Okay. Double hedge funds. So what we're going to do is we're going to go draw, gamble, Galter, security testing. We're just going to kind of do nothing for this turn. I'm guessing that's a spin doctor. But okay, lots of hedge funds played, lots of credits gained. And they reveal that we have a breaker. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna draw. We're gonna draw. We're gonna penny shaver, and we're gonna laundry HQ. No, we're gonna laundry archives here. Let's just make all the money. Corp's not really presenting threats. We've got a very building board state here, so let's just build for a bit. It may not be the most accurate line. This is actually, I'm a little ashamed that the card so bad. The art on, I've literally never looked at before in any detail. To me, it was just a dark splotch. But I like this little kind of stadium assembly in a little valley. Okay, that's spicy. We will target archives. We will draw a card. Let's run HQ. Interesting if there's a spin doctor res or something here. There is a spin doctor res, so that's going to probably be like a Hokusai or La Costa grid. Hey, let's just get rips. Let's just win by ripping. Earthrise Hotel is going to be very nice for us here. Keeps us up tempo against some kind of net damage-ish list. Subliminal, so they want to reveal the Subliminal to get a Hyoubu credit. Alright, installing Protect Server 1. Are we going to use the Spin Doctor here? Yes, we are. So our turn probably looks something like Earthrise to Laundry Archives, install the Marana, run server 1, assuming they're putting in and advancing something here. If we get a Boomerang, we just put a Boomerang down instead. Okay, so it's going to go... Actually, no, there's no barriers I'm afraid to face check here. Engram Flush could be annoying. Engram Flush could actually be very annoying. But let's go for it. All right. This could be an Urtica cipher, I guess, as well. Which would be also unpleasant. I don't actually know if this list runs Urtica cipher or not. But for the most part, well, I guess we've got 2 non-econs here. Okay. So we can just break this for 4 credits. So we lose all of our dollars. We don't get to trash the void. But I think we recover better. Because we'll have a bunch of credits on Penny Shaver. We'll have 4 credits on Penny Shaver. And we'll have security testing. We'll have Earthrise. Okay. Steal the Flower Sermon. Trash the Void. I actually think maybe it would have been better for them to lose their entire hand here. And let's just do the savage play of install Riseki. Savage is maybe not the correct word there, but all right, well, we're at 4 agenda points on turn 5. Opponent's on 0. That feels pretty good. It looks like they're going to come around for another go. Okay. Reveal daily cast from the group, which tells me that's not an agenda that I want to do. So we're going to go Earthrise. We're going to sec testing archives. Let's run archives. Taking 3 credits. Effectively. We'll run R&D here to gain a credit. Sort of 2-ish. Kind of. Oh. Oof. Well, I guess we'll run R&D again. Yeah, this feels like a tough draw for Naval Gazer, to be honest. And install casts. Yeah, I mean, it is fairly unfortunate for them that we had the Big Altar, though. It's interesting to me that they went for that Flower Sermon score, because we did install the Big Altar turn 1. But the other thing to me, and like my hypothesis as to why this Hyoubu deck is not as good as people were hyping it up to be, was even with the Flower Sermon scored, the worst thing you're going to do is snare me a couple of times. And if I just, like, I have my econ in other places already. So... Okay, let's sec testing archives. We will run archives. We will click for 9 credits, feels good. Install the Marana. Let's install let's just keep valuing. Um, value's good. Um, yeah, we can play pretty conservatively here. At some point, I will want to check R&D. Like the plan I'm building up for here is to find out what this ice is. If this is the Sysoton, um, and then go for a low risk approach. I'll let this Palisade fire. I don't feel like spending 3 credits to make 3-ish. No, let's do it. The upside to it is that I get a leech counter. So I'm kind of making 1, 2, 3, and then a leech counter, which can be impactful. So there is going to be big ice. Ottman 5 is definitely a thing I can do. I think I might just run HQ. I'm not installing this leech, so I have an extra card in hand. Yeah, we'll trash that manifold. Yeah, I mean, I can almost start putting down, like, Ottman 2 here. I think I actually can safely Ottman 2 Maker's Eye here. Oh, I don't actually even need to bother with that, I think. So I think it's Boomerang, Maker's Eye. We have to hit double snare to die here, so I should have probably drawn once. Yeah, if I die here, I'll feel quite silly. Well, we win on the first access, so. All right. Well, sometimes your opponent just draws all agendas, no ice, and you win by just running centrals 3 times. But what is this? Hyoubu. All right. Well, that's I mean, that's sort of the theory of my Xia list is I'll just kind of bully things. But like the Ottman's a bit of a meme. But it's a fun meme. And it actually does make you quite efficient against some of the really challenging ice setups that Corpse will do. All right, but let's move on to another one. Let's go to maybe table 4. We've got Oddball versus Odal. Oh, Oddball is also on Hyoubu. And Odal's just on a big lat, looks like Kushuk engine. So we're seeing Engram, we're seeing Sysotan, Palisade. So looks like basically an identical list. Oddball does have an early longevity scored, which is supposed to be the killer thing for this list. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. Just going rocketing back up to 14 credits. Odal's only on 2, though is dripping for another one and gets 2 prepaids. Has some leech counters going. So this is a pretty nice rig for Shaper here. Is this a 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4 versus, yeah, interesting. Okay. Wow, I don't usually see the Corp give the runner 4 cards. That seems little little unusual to me. Um, but I guess you're giving the runner 5 cards with the idea that maybe they can't, with only 3 credits, they can't dump all of them, which maybe is the case here. Though it looks like they're going to be able to dump almost all of them, which is pretty solid. And installing another Rozeki, DCMZ. Still has an MU left. Not sure if it will be used for anything. Maybe just a third Rozeki. So this just looks like it's kind of good stuff. Prepaid lat. We see archives. There's 2 Hyoubu precog manifolds, 2 subliminals, a spin doctor gone, 2 reviews gone, a hedge fund. We also, I didn't mention this, but at that last click, Oddball revealed a celebrity gift and then put a card on top of HQ. And Oddball has a really nice economic advantage here. A lot, I think they were drawing that turn to try and get an agenda to score, which is definitely the right play here. You've got an edge and you want to try and leverage it as much as you can here. We see another Kushik from Odal. I almost wonder if you, as Oddball, you take the last Flower Sermon tick here to try and put, like, you have 2 chances to find the agenda and then put 1 back. But when corps are going very slowly, like this is turn 10 and only on 4 points, and you don't have to worry about stealing oboes as much, like it's a big deal. It looks like Odal was saying they should break the subroutines on Engram. So it looks like we'll probably roll back the run. I'm a little surprised Odal doesn't like click for a credit. I guess actually they don't. So they could. I'm guessing that they're naming event and Odal's letting it fire because there's no events in the grip. Because Odal could. Oh no, Odal would still be short because Unity is base strength 1. There is a dirty laundry, which is gonna go, and as Odal, I'm a little bit sad about that. I would almost prefer to have laundried and then run laundried archives than Kushuk to R&D. Right, replacement effect. So we see an Engram Flash Void, Digital Rights Management, Hyoubu Precog Manifold, Analytic Void, and a Flower Sermon. So we're gonna grab the Flower Sermon and then try and find a way to recover from here. Was there a Rozeki in hand? I don't remember. No, there's an Imp DCMZ and no Dirty Laundry. So it's just going to be draw, click for 2 credits. Shuffle here does mean that Oddball could have drawn another agenda, and that's definitely what Oddball is looking for. Excuse me. So Oddball shows a spin doctor. I wonder if you just install that in server, or maybe a new remote, and draw, and then use it to draw. You have enough of an economic edge that having lat waste a credit going in seems good for you. And but instead, it looks like Oddball top deck the agenda, install advance in server 1, and puts a new ice down. That remote costs effectively. Well, its effective cost is very variable due to leech. The Palisade can go down to strength 3 quite quickly and just get whacked with a cleaver. Sisatan can be as little as 1 effective credit if it's the only sentry, but can be as much as 4 effective credits. So Odal is already credit taxed on getting in server 1 with just the res ice here. Which makes me think they want to go for some other plan. Excuse me. Oh, but they're just going to charge at it, click 1, say nothing you can do can really hurt me. I will be able to jack out if needed, And it looks like it will be needed. I guess they can keep going after this ice. They can sucker, break the 3, get back 2 credits. I guess I could even reset their Altar with a simul chip just to get it going again, which is a fun little extra econ play that you can sneak out of there. Oh, excuse me, I don't know why I've got so many yawns today. um, where did the lobby go? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So Odal has to think here, which makes a ton of sense. Trying to do the math, trying to figure out, if you do use the simul chip, it's credit, credit, credit. So that's 3 credits. So you'll have 3 credits to deal with the Sisatan, or to deal with whatever this ice is. 3 credits and 2 leech counters. No, 1 leech counter, which could be tricky. That's not a lot for sure, but whoa, okay. Just letting all subroutines fire. Imp, Diesel, and prepaid voice pad go. Oh, and because there was a Diesel in hand, it gets whacked. Okay, so we see a brand res. So this is where these leech counters are really helpful. Can just lower that strength right down. But actually, we're going to spend 3 clicks on it instead. I don't know what these leech counters seem like a underutilized resource here. If you don't use one here, I don't know why. Like, yeah, okay. Using one here, breaking Book Altar, and then this is either the best Urtica Cipher of all time or a really nice calculated play by Odal, where they invest the fewest of a resource they have very little of, which is credits. Right, they actually got into that server. Oh, and win the game outright because it's a vulnerability audit. Oh, that's super cool. Vulnerability audit is a interesting mix-up in startup. I wouldn't have thought that was in the list and might have just lost the game because I was like, they can score another 4-2 rather than scoring a 4-3. Hey, Kat, thanks for stopping by. We're mid-round 2 of a 6-round single-sided Swiss. This is startup. So, maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but this is, believe it or not, Hyoubu and Lat, and I played against a Hyoubu this round as well. So, yeah, so Odal had a bunch of ways to get into that server. I'm not, but yeah, that's that game. I think that's going to be most of the. Got to imagine it's most of the round because there's not too much time left in the round. Oh wow, there's actually a good number of games left, I guess. 14 minutes till the round is over. So we'll go. Oh, I'm starting to see more games closing out. Let's head down to Frizzler versus Steven. Or Klaus de la Roche. I don't know if it's Steven or Stefan, actually. Oh, 1 second. All right, so we're seeing a near-Earth hub. Seems like maybe some kind of damaged near-Earth hub, given the engrams and tithes, or maybe they just want cheap, impactful ice. And we're seeing a Steve Cambridge, Master Grifter, One of the ideas that I think actually unambiguously the Nisei ID is better, at least to me. Um, Only 5 points scored with 21 cards in the list. We've got a boomerang on server 5 with 2 cards in it, so an upgrade and something else. 2 ice, lots of ice for an NEH list here. We've got 7 ice installed. Um, no more in the remote. There's 2 retributions down. So I'm betting a cleaver and a Rozeki got whacked, but I could be wrong about that. I guess I could even check, right? I have the power. Trash a cleaver, trash a Rozeki. Hey, Rig Shooter is maybe a thing, and it's a thing that my runner deck, I'm just betting on not being there. So, um, all right, we're inside jobbing server, or close de la Roche is inside jobbing server 5. Um, so guaranteed to at least find out what this upgrade is, and has the tools to get past everything. Actually gets to bypass the, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, just bypasses the ping. I guess we'll see if this is an Anoetic Void or a Manic Arm. I think it's close to La Roche. You just say, I'll take 2 tags and keep going. Oh, it's reversed accounts. Seeing a surprising amount of that today. I think that's a card I wouldn't think of putting in startup too often because I think of it as a way to leverage HHN, but I guess there are, in fact, other ways to leverage credit differentials. I think I hadn't commented on because I hadn't noticed it till just now is a Mystic Mamie and Steve. I think that's pretty cute. You've got a lot of events you'll be recurring, though I'm looking at a lot of them and like there's a lot of zero cost events in this list. But there's the dirty laundries, there's the sure gambles, there's the inside jobs. You know, there's plenty of fuel for it. Oh, public trail. What are we trashing now? The Begalter, maybe? So this is all in on doing some trashing. So we trashed the Mamie. Which is a little bit strange to me. I don't know that it's worth spending 6 credits and 2 clicks to turn off a once per turn drip. Yes, the runner probably will spend a click and 2 credits back, but it's a little dicey to me. Yeah, that's true, Kistra. If the runner's doing absolutely nothing, reversed can be a good way. And because there's so many, it's really like the only decent advanceable trap, I think. Which is a big deal. Because you can bluff it as a 4-2, and there's not much else that like there's no NGO fronts, right? So the runner can basically know that it's going to be an agenda, and reverse accounts is the best fake agenda that you can put down. So, oh, what did we lose? What was named? Event. There was no events. Wow, that's pretty surprising for a criminal list. All right. What do we got? So, what is Frizzler looking to do here? I don't know if Frizzler's just trying to lock out the runner and say, I will retribution everything. Boomerang inside job is going to pose a challenge for that list, for that like core conceit. And if Close de la Roche can figure out how to navigate HQ, their ID starts becoming quite impactful. We see Frizzler installing the server 5, installing something to protect it. It's a weird, I guess it could be a Beal, but, you know, this is one of the weird things about this format is that it's a little, I guess it's not that hard to imagine NEH that runs Beal, Bologna, and Tomorrow's Headline. That seems actually fairly plausible. Close de la Roche now feels like they're in a position where their best way to disrupt is to take out the econ. Seems a little bit like I'm a little wary of clicking for credits as our econ response to spending 8 credits trashing pad campaigns and daily casts or daily business shows. But All right, we got 5 minutes left in the round. So as Frizzler, you really want to find a way to get points here. We've seen one Managarm. I wouldn't be surprised if server 5 is another Managarm. This is a interesting spread of influence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that could be the third Managarm. It could be a lot of other things. I'm surprised this kind of isn't on HQ, but again, I have no idea. Maybe the runner's pretty confident this is a barrier, in which case, yeah, you take the server you can get. Naming event, they'd seen a bunch of these cards, hadn't left the hand, so probably could have done more quote-unquote damage. Close to the Roche accesses and trashes a tiered subscription, and then sees one more card. Okay, we're going to start advancing a Bologna, it looks like. Just wanted to get it out of hand, which does suggest to me either hand is flooded or Frizzler doesn't feel like it's particularly safe, at least relative to server 5. I guess with 2 inside jobs down and a boomerang locked, Frizzler can feel pretty safe. They don't have a ton of credits, but they probably have enough to res a smaller ice. Yeah, like this is a play that I think I would be worried about as Frizzler. Oh, okay, that's a very nice tithe to handle inside jobs. So it'll be interesting. Okay, and this is the toll booth, so there's nothing that can break it. So that's going to end the run, and that should get Frizzler to 5 points and the lead with just a few minutes left on the clock. Oh, it's send a message. It's not Bologna. Oh, that's a big deal for Close de la Roche. That means that Frizzler really can't threaten to score again. So if you can get some accesses on R&D, you should be in a pretty good spot. And send a message being res a 3-cost ice. It's definitely on the lower side of the payout curve. All right, and Close de la Roche is just saying, well, my wins on R&D here, I can always access with 5 credits. Don't care about the cards in my hand, I guess. You could definitely name resource here and be guaranteed to get the Earth Rises, or name hardware and get the boomerangs. Seems quite good as well. I actually don't like trashing the top of R&D there, really. It's just letting Frizzler draw other cards. I guess Spin Doctor does help smooth things out a lot, though, so. All right, so Frizzler installs in server 5, clicks for 2 credits, doesn't really have a major threat yet. And we see Close to the Roche has Unity Begalter going. But probably still not ever going to break this engram here. It's just so expensive up until you have 4 breakers down, which is a pretty wildly efficient ice for engram. Yeah, okay. Now Frizzler's naming hardware, getting both boomerangs down, which is quite good. Should make Frizzler pretty happy to try and get through here. Does have to kind of draw past an R&D lock of sorts. But even if they can draw another gold farmer, that just goes very nicely on R&D and kind of wins them the game, probably. They're also up 5 points to 3 with 2 minutes left in the round. Oh, actually, it's about to end, so just waiting for the bot to go. Just getting the message queued. Getting all excited. Let's see how many people are going to time. Last round, only one table went to time. Looks like maybe 2 tables will go to time this time around. All right. Time on the round. So we'll leave this game and go. Oh, that looks like it's the only one. Okay. Looks like other tables maybe hadn't reported yet. All right, Close de la Roche saying, I gotta go in. I've got everything I need to get into this server. Let's bust it. Let's hope we can. If this is the 3rd Manic Arm, I'll make sure I go in with 2 clicks left. And I'm like, got enough credits to still steal Bologna as well. So, has to hope this isn't a void. It is a Skunkworks that lets Close de la Roche spend 2 clicks, access the Bologna, and get a 1-point lead, and that's going to seal the game for Close de la Roche. A very close one, came down literally to the very last credit there. Close de la Roche did some, play to their outs, was just running R&D. Yep. So, runner win. Okay, so last round there was lots of Corp wins. This round there's lots of runner wins. Kind of not too surprised, honestly. Yeah, that was a nail biter for sure. All right, we're gonna close the round. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people undefeated. 3 of them are on HB. 1's on GameNet. 1's on Built to Last. 1's on Mirrormorph. 2 Zayas, 2 Steves, 1 Hoshiko, and 1 Lat. Oh, I'm sorry, no. The Mirrormorph is not necessarily undefeated. So of the 5 people have yet to lose, 3 of them are on PD, 1's on GameNet, 1's on Built to Last, 2 are on Zaya, 1's on Steve, 1's on Hoshiko, and 1's on Lat. And we're now to the halfway point. Okay. Round 3 pairings are up. All right, so we are at table 3. Table 3, round 3. We don't need the round here. Tables are actually closing for the most part. We will make this startup. We will go here. We will make this. We will select our 5-second PD. And then I'm going to go grab a glass of water so I don't sound so, well, so terrible. All right, and I'm back. Time to play some Precision Design. And maybe I will pull up the standings for a moment, just so people can look. So 18 players is pretty astounding turnout. And we've made it to round 3. No one's dropped just yet, which is always good. So something I need to do longer term is put win rates here, and also showing in the pairings, like putting in smaller text in a new line, um, what corp they're playing. I've sort of been a little bit slow on that. I just want to make sure all the tables are up. Table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's 8? Where's 8? Okay, great. Timer 35 minutes. Round 3. All right, let's get going. Okay, it's Hoshiko. This hand's a little dicey. It's got absolutely no econ and too expensive ice. It's got a really nice agenda, but I think we can do better. We, turns out, cannot do better. But that's okay. We will get there. We are in get there city population us. Do that. This. And I think I want magnet on the remote to make it more botulus proof. And we'll have to see if this is a virus Hoshiko, a reg stuff Hoshiko. I think I prefer a matchup against reg. So I don't have quite the tools to do in standard to deal with viruses. All right, Paladin. Yep, so this looks actually like a pretty reg Hoshiko already. I really want to try and bait runs here while they're fairly low value. But this is definitely a bit of an awkward start. I guess I can start bluffing stuff on R&D and server 1. But all right. I'm going to let them trash the Spin Doctor here. And if they also want to trash the Tranquility Home Grid, good for them. I don't think they should. Short of having a Rozeki and going like click for a credit, install Rozeki maybe. It is worth thinking about, but I think probably not correct. Okay, Dirty Laundry on R&D, so their econ's going. We're definitely struggling to get started. Maybe I want RLCs in this list over some of these extra pieces of ice. I think that seems plausible to me. We're going to go R&D. We're going to go server 1. We're going to go server 1, gaining 2. All right, install of a gachapon. So probably Armin's going to take the turn off and just draw a couple times. No, interesting. Yeah, I think I can do this. I can res. If I res the Ansel, they can then run HQ, but the Ansel's going to do some damage most likely. Let's see what the Gachapon hits. All right, that's good for us in that it's blank right now, and it's going to take them many turns to be trashed. I guess the thing I need to watch out for at some point is a single Ice Carver hit to get an extra bit of surprise bump down, but not too worried about that generally. So removing a Boomerang and a Chisel from the game. Interesting. Okay. I'll be interested to see what subroutine they let me fire here, or if they let me fire multiple. Yep, don't let me trash anything. You let me do an install? Or are you going to do a runner cannot steal or trash? Okay. Just get some info about what this is. Doesn't hurt. I guess it also turns on Hoshiko, so that's something. So I think we can go. Install gaining 2, gain a credit, gain a credit. That's unfortunate for us, and does mean we don't get this. Okay. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. Do I go to 1 here? Man. I think so. Yep. Well, I guess Paladin's going to have to trash something here, which is not. I mean, it's not a lot of value for us, but it's something. Oh, that's a pretty perfect draw here, because we can just install that in server 1, gaining 2 credits. Let's draw, gain a credit. Okay. Well, that's not what I was hoping to see. I was hoping to see another piece of ice I could put on server 1 here. Liberate is also not really what I want to see here, but that's okay. Let's gain 2. Let's res. We're going to just go hedge. And install on server 1. Hey, Simply the Onion. This game has started a little bit awkward where Hoshiko turn 1 boomerang to magnet. We didn't end up resing it. It sort of stuck around. But they were able to get a Chisel Devil Charm combo out to kill the Ansel I had protecting the remote, and they were able to steal a sandbox from us. And we're quite flooded. But you know, last game we were under flooded. We were in an agenda desert, so it makes sense we're gonna flood this time around. And yeah, we're up against Armin. I'm not too worried yet, to be honest. I actually think Liberty is going to put them in a good spot. But we're going to get through our deck at a pretty good clip here. And I think we should be able to. Oh, it's actually quite hard to use Void here. I should have maybe put the Spin Doctor in a new remote. But I almost certainly actually don't have to use Void. So we're going to go put the Spin Doctor, put the Ansel back. And go like this. I think, we have to gain 2 here. And do this. I'm actually going to do this. Yeah, this Tranquility Grid has made us a lot of money. All right, Buzzsaw coming down. So maybe Armin can technically make it in here. 3, 4, 5. Yes, they can get in. So we do have to use Void here, which means we don't get to score. Oh, fire on broken subroutines. Never mind. Running HQ here is going to be a very solid play. Yep. So solid that you can't miss it, I think. But apparently you can miss the 2 Vacherons, which is very, very good for us. I actually want to keep my hand density kind of high of non-agendas. And I don't think I'm going to try and force a Vacheron here. Because one option I actually have next turn is installing the Vacheron. Installing like a drafter maybe on the remote. And being pretty safe to score the other Vacheron with 2 seamlesses. Yeah, okay, that's definitely the play to go for here. The question is it better to spend 5 credits on the drafter here when I have to spend 7, 8, 9 credits protecting this, or click for 2? I think it's click for 2. There are some worlds where we get punished here, for sure. But we'll be able to mostly do this play again a second time around. Definitely don't want to res here, I think. I'd rather let them have a free access than really deplete our credits. Losing a void is okay. They should probably run R&D a second time here. Okay, Stargate down does make me want to res the Ansel here. Alright, let's see what they get. Sandbox, Tollbooth, Hagen. Goodbye, Sandbox. Could have used you. Oh, we can use you. Oh, that's so brutal. Oh, no. Do we use it? Did I do something wrong? Put the Cyberdex in. We don't actually have credits to go for it, but... like, this could actually be a losing line, because it means they'd run HQ a bunch and steal the Vacheron, then we don't find another agenda in time or something, but... I think that's not too likely. And even if they do, we still get 4 turns, so... oof. Okay. Well... let's just rip them all. Okay, 2 runs. That's the worst case scenario. All right. Okay, we are now on the clock. I think if I had been less greedy, I think honestly it's still the right play. Like, the running HQ line is still good here. So, okay. We're going to draw. Install on R&D, take a credit. We still have a couple of turns here. We don't have a lot of money, which is tricky. And we might just lose outright. No, we can't really lose outright here, but we can sort of effectively lose here. We are sort of effectively losing here, though. Because the Stargate lock is real. We don't have a ton of time to draw through it. So I think it's going to be we click for 3 credits this turn. And then next turn, yeah, we have to basically draw it exactly. in the following turn. So, and we will not have credits to res any ice. So, actually, so we know the top. I think we have to draw. Install in server 1, gaining 2, and the spin doctor draw is fantastic there. We do have to get an agenda in hand this exact turn. And it still is probably not safe in the remote. But if we can get Armin to go after the remote, I think we're relatively happy. Because it costs some ungodly amount with Buzzsaw. 3, 6, 7, 8 credits to go into server 1. And we can res the Managarm. Maybe the Void. I don't think we have enough. The issue I think with this is that we won't have enough credits to use the Void, the Managarm, and score the agenda, because we need 4 credits to score the agenda, and we need 8 credits to keep them out twice. And Armory can just sit here, go to 17, be pretty solid. Oh, yeah, I guess I don't need to res the Managarm necessarily. That's a good point. All right, overclocking the remote. This is the line I'd like to see. I'm just going to use the Void on this one, I think. Maybe in this scenario I use both. Covering the chat so I can't get any advice here. Actually, with 6 credits, I'm okay to just use the Void, I think. Let's trash the trashables. So we have enough credits. If we res, install, click, click for 2 credits, I think we're okay. Just barely. Man, losing that Vacheron was unfortunate. Okay, 3 agendas on the top, so we're guaranteed to get one into our hand. That's the big brain play. Boy, this is actually a tricky one. Because that means that there's going to be agendas in places I don't want them. Three credits, there's going to be a few more, but oh, we draw the seamless launch, which is amazing. That's a bunch of credits for us. I want the luminal because that's the closest to being credit perfect that we can get. Because we can end with 1 credit and still be okay here. So I can go credit, credit. And so depending on click order here, I can res this Hagen and still win. Oh man, this is a tight, this is a crazy finish here. Wow, literally down to the last turn. Yeah, I mean, Armin has to get to 2 agendas here. That's just the long and short of it. And there's one in my hand and one in my deck, I believe. One, two, three. So this is 7 points. This is 5, 7. Yeah, there's only one more agenda in all of R&D. So, um, I don't know that the recurve sandbox play was too risky. I don't think there was actually another good recursion there. Um, uh, can't res this, but it kind of doesn't matter. I can res this if they run it after they get the Ansel. Because I think your line there, maybe you don't run HQ if you don't see the Cyberdeck sandbox. Maybe I'm just thinking it's a good play, but like it's free accesses when the corp is on 2 credits. So, but now we also don't need to res the, yeah. Yeah, no, there's definitely that line where you just try and score the Vasher, the other Vacheron that's in hand. Um, but whew, that was a tight one. But I also think they probably could be pretty justified in just running HQ when I'm at 2 credits. Uh, and it wouldn't be like a play I would go, huh, about. Um, yeah, I mean, the other thing is like, oh, if they stole the sandbox before the Vacheron, they might have just been like, good, I got the agenda, and like gone back to setting up. And it's, oh, okay, interesting. They might have not run HQ there. Yeah, I guess they don't know my hand. To me, it's like a good way to poke, turn on Keiko. I guess maybe you're also doing the Ansel. Um, okay, well, live and learn. I have a misunderstanding, and that's actually one of the things I struggle with is trying to keep track of what my opponent likely knows and doesn't know. Um, um, yeah, yeah, maybe that's right. Maybe just let the points go. Um, but hey, we got there. We scored out on turn 14. I should definitely be on some red level clearances instead of some of this ice. Um, uh, yeah, so. Cool. Well, that's going to be almost time on the round, I would guess. Oh, actually, no, we got quite a chunk of time, it looks like. 10 minutes, so I will. All right. We have not seen either blue player or minstrel yet. Oh, hey Dunch. Just go to the if you go to the standings link, there should be report buttons here, and you can just click the result. If you make a mistake and click the wrong thing, or your opponent cheats and clicks the wrong thing, or more likely accidentally clicks the wrong thing, you can just send me a message. I've got an admin panel that lets me fix that. Um, so, yeah, I may have just not reloaded the page since that report. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Just waiting on the last two games. Holy moly, this is a different looking game. Okay, we got Minstrel versus Blue Player. Uh, so we just use a Kushuk to see a Vacheron Offworld Office. Seamless Nico launch campaign steals the Offworld Office and then shuffles. Um, and then we have 3 clicks left. Did they sneak a Jinja? No, I think they paid the hard way, right? So they paid 6 credits to make server 1 here before they rezzed any ice. Just pretty wild. All right, so we're leeching down. Then we're gonna bump Cleaver up. Then we're gonna break Bran and hope that there's not another Bran on the server, I would assume. Letting them install an ice from archives or their hand. They must be pretty confident there's nothing in hand. Excuse me. Get a little bit of chill. But that's a bold, bold play, especially because it's only 1 credit, and I don't think you're that close to credit perfect here. Though I guess you probably want to try and save clicks and credits for the Managarm if you can. Be interesting to see. How many Q6 have been played? Dead Void, Good Void. Yes. Oh wow, all 3 voids gone. So that's 12 influence out of this PD list, just going straight to voids. And there is an install here. Oop. And I should make it so maybe Discord's not going to the stream, but still going to me. Hopefully that's fixed. All right. So we're approaching this ice. Blue player only has 4 credits, so it's hard for there to be too many impactful pieces of ice. Yeah, a couple people doing a double tournament day. It's, I guess, pretty lucky they got spaced out. Dungeon, that explains why you didn't haven't had more than a single meal today. I'm sorry to have kept you away. There'll be a break after the next round, I guess. I maybe should have played throwback. I didn't realize. I cannot figure out how UTC plus 13 works for me at UTC minus 5. Like, I can't figure out what the 18-hour gap, how to calculate an 18-hour gap. It's just too much for my puny brain. So, but all right. So we Unity through Magnet. We're going to now Unity through Ravana. We see a Managarm. Pretty content to see that. This might actually be the end of the game here. Yeah, doing the triathlon would have meant completely destroying my sleep schedule because I would have started. I guess I could have played in the throwback because that was actually at like 8 p.m. or something my time. That would have been 3 hours. Gone to bed at around midnight, and then slept for 3 hours. Woken up, built my decks, gone back to sleep for an hour, woken up, played 3 rounds of RAM, and then sort of go from there. But interestingly, Minstrel actually trashes the Tranquility Grid, which I think is a little surprising to me. Because I don't think it's actually posing that much of a threat, though I guess Blue Player is looking to build up more credits. I'm not sure what. I feel like this rig has to be finished, right? 3 Rozekis and one of each breaker. Are you installing an extra copy of a breaker, maybe? I don't know. Oh, I'm going to turn down the game sounds a bit again. I didn't realize that that's why they were so bearably quiet before. So, yeah, I guess you could put down like another leech or another thing to make Unity boost a little more efficiently. Oh yeah, definitely sleep after an 8-hour workday instead of overdoing 3 tournaments back to back to back sounds like the right call. Oh no, Dutch, I was assuming I would build my deck. I would get 3 hours of sleep, wake up, build my deck, fall asleep again for an hour, and then play the first 2 rounds or something. But yeah. Oh, there's an imp is the last thing. Okay, we're gonna laundry HQ. 5 minutes left in the round. Interested to find out a bit what's in HQ, but this looks like it's just all of the ice HB. The Ravana is an interesting thing because like it sort of replaces the gatekeeper, but sort of forces a few more Byroids than you usually run. So like we see Eli's that are not normally in this list. Um, I think let's see. Did we imp it? I don't think we did. Yeah, I think probably you. I would almost just run back again immediately. It's a single credit, and you might get the seamless, which is a big deal. Um, as Simply the Onion was pointing out here. So, um, all right, card goes in server one. Yeah, being Eli is not the worst. Cleaver does break it for 3 credits, or 1 credit sometimes with a leech, which is like a pretty noticeable deal. Um, but conversely, you have Brand, which is like either you win or you win against either of the best barrier breakers in the format. So, uh, yeah. Okay. So 2 installs in server one after a click to draw is a big threat here. Minstrel is on 14 credits, 1 leech counter. It's using an AR therapy. Yeah, this is a good ice suite if you are expecting a lot of Anarch. There's not actually much Anarch today, though. Um, all right. Just using the AR as a extra copy of Cusack and then drawing to see a Cusack. And sees the Cyberdeck sandbox, so that's the game. Well played by a Minstrel. And let's go and report that one as a runner win. Cool. That's going to be the full round. So, all right. Yeah, AR is choose up to 5. So that's something at least. That was after 3 rounds, yes. So we've got 3 people still on 9. Okay. And let's go Bing. We got round 4 is up. I will put up the standings really quickly. Here are the tables. Oh, we have a rematch up against Dunge, but the opposite side, of course. Come on, website. You don't have to be so slow. I don't know why you're so slow. Gotta spend some time with the logs. Um, okay. Well, let's go and head to table 2. Um, After this round, there will be a 15-minute intermission. All right, here we are. So, two people at perfect scores with plus corp, one person with a plus runner, 3 different IDs in the top 3 so far. A lot of precision design. I really need to make a pie chart thing so that we can see total breakdowns. But it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 precision designs, 3 Hyobus. Very popular among a certain crowd. So, and then runner IDs are, I mean, there's not, runner IDs I think are a little more limited because Ashes is a very kind of reg setup. So you can't do that much, but well, Dunch, your strength of schedule is high because you played. We can go and check. You played me, who has a perfect score. You probably played someone else. You probably played 2 other people at 6 or something like that. We can even check, right? You played Tony Hop, and you played Sauce 3. And Tony Hop is at 6, and Sauce 3 is at 3. So you have no 0 points. So 3, 6, and 9 divided by 3 rounds is going to be 2, which is pretty good. Like, I've played... Mine gets deflated a bit because, right, I've added a loss. So, like, I've played a 3 and a 3 and you at 6. So it makes sense that my score is a little bit less than 2. Timer, 50 minutes. All right. This looks like a good opening hand. So, yep, this is Atman Zaya because I refuse to build a good runner deck. So we're just going to keep playing this until I get completely eliminated and dunked on here. But it looks like we're going to have a very nice turn of gamble, leech, no snare one time. Earthrise. Be interested to see where the Christium goes here. There is a right answer against this list. It's probably obvious, but... All right, so now we just get to build up, draw. Oh, beautiful. So I think it's installed. Yeah, it's 3 cards. So that's just how we're going to play it. I don't love the running archives just for a leech and a laundry, but I think it's okay. Okay. Let's put this on the bottom. Let's go bingo, bango, bingo, rango, bango. Steal a Beal. Nice. And then we'll take a credit. And we'll just keep running HQ here, I guess, while they let us do it. They do have enough impunity of us, I guess, but... Okay, let's go bing, bang, run HQ. Slaco, okay. So there is some big tag punishment here. I do want to run last click on R&D, but also I don't. I think I'd rather just run HQ, see if we can find out what the last card is. Looks like we cannot. I can almost Ottoman 0 here for a little bit. Ottoman 4, I think, is where I'm going to want to land. Almost certainly, honestly. All right, trashing the boomerang. Let's see. Let's just make you show me something. All right. Okay, so there's a sand there. Makes some sense. Let's inside job server 1. See what we got. Okay, interesting. Sand, I might leave. Probably could have trashed it, but actually almost certainly should have trashed it in retrospect. Yeah, definitely 100% should have trashed it. We've got plenty of money. So, so I guess we're starting to, we've stolen some of the 3-2s here. We're just going to Bravado HQ. Okay. Yep, we can let Unbroken Subroutines fire here. So this actually makes me want to put Ottoman at 3, because I actually don't have any Code Gate Breaker in this list. I mean, they really just wanted to try and get stuff here, I think. So, but I will still do this. Ottoman 3 can mean I can get locked out a little bit with some stuff, and I have to spend a few more leech counters than I'd like, but most likely this should be okay. Oh. All right. Oh wait. Okay. Phew. Let's remove a tag. So the other card in their hand must have been Snare this whole freaking time, and that must be why they were not resin with magnets, I think. So. I was trying to fish for the last card, and they were hoping that I would find the last card in their hand, but yeah, rip Neural EMP for sure. We haven't lost. I mean, losing some of these cards are a bit sad to lose, but honestly, most of them we're fine with losing. We're just gonna draw this turn. I'm okay with them going and trashing this class act here. License acquisition so they can install and reveal an asset, ignoring all costs. So there's probably a San. Yep. But we've actually got a lot of credits here. So we're going to just Bravado HQ here. Break. Psycho. Toll booth. Well, because we know that this is also a San City grid in server 1. So they're just doubling up. We're going to draw. Let's do this. Let's run R&D. I kind of want to see what this ice is. Okay. Good to know. It's going to be Psychographics Planogram, and I can lose the class act here. No, it could also be Retribution. That's the card I probably need to play around because it does absolutely destroy me here. Looks like I draw 3-2, so my next turn I think is just Boomerang Maker's Eye. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm realizing I've maybe, if I've seen one snare, I probably want to respect a second snare. So let's go bingo. Now we can do this. And there are still blowouts here, but I think they're fewer and farther between. Okay. Yes. And then last is going to be Earthrise. Okay, a purge. That tells me that there is some decent strength ice laying around somewhere. Something in the 4-ish range. We'll put one boomerang at the bottom. We'll go and trash this San. We'll run archives just to get a counter. We will install casts and gain 10 credits. Did they draw on their last turn? I don't think they did. No, they purged. Right. Okay, so I probably want to run archives one more time here. Just so I can hit a toll booth and a free to play and stuff like that. Oh, I'm probably going to need to actually handle white space at some point. So I might need to do Ottman 0, Ottman 3, which is a little bit awkward. Like, this is why no one runs Ottman, is because the ice strengths are very varied. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can trash this to make me encounter a pop-up window, but I don't think you do. I think this is the better play here. We're gonna draw again and install. Actually, Rozeki would probably be better there, but yeah, I guess it's gonna be Ottman 1. We need to start running R&D, or Ottman 0, excuse me here. I like all these cards. Let's put this one on the bottom. We'll name archives. We're going to Bravado HQ. Let Unbroken Subroutines fire. Break the magnet. Still see that Chrysium grid and that psychographics. Nope, we won't spend 0 here. Then we want a laundry R&D. Just play as greedy as humanly possible. And then we'll just probably draw last click. No, let's go in again instead. Okay, well, it's not actually what I really wanted to see, but getting 2 spin doctors is something I can't complain about too much. Interested to see what happens here, because I left server 1 uncontested. Where are these agendas? Okay, so the purge makes some sense to me. The issue with it is that I just get to reset. Like HQ is currently set up so that I get in for 0 credits and I get a leech counter. And then that lets me go into R&D for net 0 credits and net 0 leech counters. Okay. And sick rips. That was I'm very curious about what Dunch's deck's exact game plan was, and this was just sort of like, this is why I like the Ottman rig, is like it's actually very well. I guess the only thing we ended up breaking with it was magnet, so it's hard to say that this saves us really any money. Um, but we did run through that magnet an awful lot, so it probably did save us money over Unity. It wouldn't have saved us money over the other one, Buzzsaw, um, but the other thing this does say is, oh, the toll booth they had in hand is not quite blank, but reasonably close to blank. The free-to-play they had is a little bit blank. Like, there's stuff like that. But this is just Red Crim. Oh, the remote was a Bologna as well. Oh, that's really tricky. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, right? You're 14, and that would be 8, 11, 14, 14 points out of 18. That's maybe a touch high, but not like hugely a round variance. I guess I would be complaining. Yeah, your third Bologna is the 1 in 14, so it's definitely a touch on the high side. But um, you also miss spin doctors and stuff like that. So I don't know. How many snares are you running, Dunch? By the way, I guess that's always an interesting question to me, because like I saw the one and had to respect it. And it was literally a thing I had forgotten about, snare being in the format. So, uh, yeah, the license acquisition does push the density up a bit, though. Here, the license acquisition was free points, basically. Like, it's just a card, so you're playing this for card effect, basically, more so than the points with the way this agenda suite. Yeah, I'd be interested to know what the okay, 2 snares in the list. That sounds reasonable. I wonder if this is like a toll booth like free to play. That could be a challenge for me. But um, all right. So we actually played very quickly. It seems we got 30 minutes left in the round. Is it really that fast? That was quite something. 13 turns, and it took us 18 minutes. Oh, it's a tier and a white space. Oof, that would have been very brutal for me. Um, okay, so it can't be 34 minutes left. No, I just haven't. It just hasn't reloaded things. Okay. Um, let me find out the actual time. Oh no, that's the okay. Round ends in 18 minutes, and then there's going to be a short break. So yeah, the leech counters are quite fun. I mean, it's the old Ottman style, like leech Ottman rig. It's used to be a lot of fun. It's not quite good though. I don't think it's quite as bad as its reputation. But enough of me talking about a deck that's more meme than dream. And let's go to the other top table. Oh, Odal wins. So let's move on to a different table. See if Minstrel's near the bottom. I would assume. Not really. Wait, why am I not seeing Minstrel? Oh, eh. All right. All right, well, that was tables 1 and 3, so let's go, or 1 and 2, so let's go to table 3. We haven't seen Elongate or Brolock yet, so hopefully their game's still going. All right, so this is, the actual standard good criminal rig against what looks like a pretty standard reasonable precision design, splashing Engram flushes. Um, so, what do we see? We see lots of actually a pretty low curve on this ice here, which is pretty common in PD and generally good. There's sort of the more expensive ice that you generally see and is sort of usually the top of the curve for most precision design lists. Carmen's getting Prolock through fairly efficiently here. This does look like the Void Manic Arm Doom remote that plagues standard and seems to be quite strong in startup as well, unsurprisingly. Prolock's going to spend click, click. Longy's going to go down to 3 credits. And my guess is scores out here. Seamless, advance, and that'll be GG for Longy. Looks like good number of 13 runs made. It's a little bit tricky to know how many of those were successful and stuff like that, but all right. All right, let's see. We still got table 4. The weird thing about sorry, Dunch, I missed your comment. I'm assuming your comment was about me saying Void and Manic Arm. Like you have to have a plan for it. I actually think one of the things I've been seeing that's good that people have been doing that like I think I actually need to start adapting my court play around is just saying you can have your scoring remote. I'll find the agendas first with Kushuk, Maker's Eye, Stargate Lock, Sweeping HQ, like doing stuff like that. And then also Anarch is saying, well, I'll just blow up your remote so it costs me nothing to go in over and over again. All right, so let's move on to this game, and I can stop the comment. So, Precision Design is up. Sorry, I just gotta do some admin. So we're going laundry so on here. Sorry, hopefully that's sorted out. Okay. Sorry. Just gotta sort out some admin stuff. But it looks like okay, so we've got Maker's Eye Ken. That's actually a really nice alt art. It took me a second to realize what it is. Like, I could want some things slightly differently. You don't usually see PD going wide like this. That's quite the big R&D stack. Okay. So Tony Hop checked server 2 and 3, saw there was some Nico campaigns, saw there was a Nico campaign. We're just going really big on this ice and R&D, and it does seem like this game's going to come down to who gets into R&D here. But maybe Tony Hop is actually set up to camp this remote, because we see 3 Managarms down and 1 Void down, and a Gold Farmer. So that's already actually 7 influence, 8 influence, probably 9, 10. Like, influence might be tight, so there might only be 2 voids, or there could only be 1 void and a couple of Gold Farmers. I wonder if we can see what this Tranquilizer was on, see if it was anything big. Hagen, okay. So nothing too big at this point, but mutual favor. I guess they didn't want to make a run on HQ, which makes some sense. Trashing Rozeki got the rig assembled. Gordian Blade to me, I think, is almost universally wrong. I think Euler is the same influence, and almost always effectively the same card that installs for cheaper. But that's just my vendetta against Gordian Blade and for my pro Unity bias. Okay. 27 my pro Euler bias. Sorry. I don't have a pro Unity, but Unity is I think effectively always better than Gordian, and it's less influence, right? Yeah, there are technically some cases where Gordian can outmatch Unity, but they are uncommon. All right, so we're clicking for 3 credits, going for the Maker's Eye. So this is just sort of credits who wore it better. But I suspect 17 should be enough to get through this remote. You think Tau... Wait. Oh, Tau Unity is better than other options? I'm not convinced of that, to be honest. I think... even if you're Tau, I don't think Gordian's going to be better often enough to be worthwhile. And honestly, I think in Tau, your Euler upside can get even higher. There's definitely scenarios where, like, you do Euler Conduit or something and, like, just set up R&D to become, you steal something and then continue to make it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. We got 3 accesses and 1 hit. That's a Vitruvius. Okay, we got 8 minutes left in the round. Disgruntled Elf. That's a great question. So it's Oh, it's an Akira alt art. So I would definitely reach out to Akira and see where this is available. They've done a whole line, um, uh, a whole line of sort of OG Netrunner style. Wait, what? Triple biotic labor? Are we scoring a Vacheron from hand playing 3 biotic labors? What? Wait, did we get an extra one? I'm so... Wait, no. What? Biotic labor, biotic labor, biotic labor. Install, advance, 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 advance. Don't you only need 2? Oh, they drew a card. I missed that. Wow. Cool. Well, yeah, let's go to always be running and see if we can if Akira's put all their stuff up on there. Other art. Netscape. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can find it here. Yep, here we are. Okay, looks like you can get them on NPC. Yeah, that makes sense. I think they maybe even have. Yeah, they've got a whole set of these. So, um, yeah, ONR style. So like I have a friend who has a bunch of these. Can I see the preview? Yeah, open the preview. Um, yes, you get turning wheels. You also get cannot tell. Oh, daily casts. Uh, oh, okay. Here it says right down here: daily cast, turning wheel, RNG key, corporate sales team, field AI, and macrophage. Yeah, NPC is slow and kind of worth like you generally want to do a big bundled order. Um, yeah, it's probably not in that set one. I think it's going to be in. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually here. So it's in set 2. So it's Knifed, Maker's Eye, APOC, and Diversion of Funds. Um, cool. All right. So that was table 4. We'll just keep moving down. Actually, we've seen both these people already. I feel like we've seen actually almost everyone now at this point. Yeah, startup is fast. I mean, these are slowish startup games. 14 turns, 18 turns for my 2 corp games. So that's to me actually pretty slow, and might explain why. Like 14 turns versus 10 turns is 4 extra turns where the runner can get a Kushuk off or a Kusuk off twice or Maker's Eye off and stuff. So I definitely can see why, even though PD seems very good, it's probably like it's not just like absolutely brutalizing everything else necessarily. So, um, let's see. But let's go and watch. Let me actually check on the timers for the round because we've done a diversion or 2. Looks like we're going to end in 4 minutes. Let's just go and see where all the different games are, and I will just give a 4-minute warning. Though this looks to me pretty corp favored. That's also a pretty classic Tau. All ice on R&D, all ice on the remote, nothing on HQ. It's kind of why I'm liking DJ Fenris in Tau in Standard, so that I at least get value out of the open HQ. Here we see a Lucky Charm. Though I have to imagine that there wasn't a run on HQ this turn, right? No, there's no way. But this is a Managarm. Oh, I kind of want to see, is this a Managarm into a Bologna? Just letting it go. I guess there's enough credits, and hopefully they're thinking they can make enough in the following turn, I guess, with all of this drip. It's an interesting choice. I guess you can just run it, click 2 next turn. Oh, it's a reversed account. It's wild. Wild. Crazy, crazy. We were just watching? No, it wasn't. Okay. And this is going to be like a 2-minute warning now. Yeah. All right, and once again, we see Corp is in a fairly dominant position here. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Startup is very big rig runner. I don't even want to call that shapery because to me, shaper doesn't have to mean big rig. And I want to start campaigning for it to not just be thought of as big rig, so that people don't just think of shaper as big rig and big rig or bust. I think there's many more interesting archetypes that shaper can fill that aren't big rig. But Ashes is full of cards that are 1 credit of value a turn for runners, and that's like we can open up Netrunner DB. It's like most of the cards, I think. So if we go to Ashes, so and then we go to runner cards, right? So this is, I mean, you got to have your credit gain, you got to have your draws. This is marginal value, marginal value, non-marginal value, marginal value, marginal value, non-marginal value. This is Stargate is like somewhere in between. Like it's a fairly big rig marginal value card. Marginal value breaker, unplayable card, marginal value, unplayable, marginal, marginal. So Anarchs have 2, maybe 3 cards. That's true. Simply like Devil Charm, Gachapon, and Chisel can feel a little shapery, where you do stuff in timing windows that aren't typical. Oh, okay. Corp wins by scoring agenda points. Call it run in. Time on the round. This is your final turn. And Fake Kenny gets a turn. And then we've got table 9. Oh yeah, botch list. Oh yeah, I've seen surprisingly no botch list yet today. Anyway. And yeah, then you can go and look and like criminal. I guess not. Value card. Guess not a value card. I guess not a value card. Masterwork, Boomerang, Q-Loop are like non-value cards, but they're basically a new engine. So I'll give them credit. It's a very shapery engine. This is a bad card. I guess this is a value card of sort. Value card, value card, value card, value card, value card, huge value card, marginal value card, engine card. So criminal is mostly values and then an engine, and then shaper is just lots of value stuff. So, all right, so that's going to be the whole round. Surprised there was no run on HQ there. But all right. Let me just unmute myself to the table of people. All right, we're going to have a, well, now we're already partially into a 15-minute break, but hope you all have a nice time. Yeah, and so I think that puts the runner meta in a weird place. And I'm hoping that Borealis moves us away from a pure value meta. Let's see if everyone's reported. Cool, does look like it. Just make sure. Cool. Alrighty. So looks like that's the end of the round. Well. Okay, and then someone needed to drop. All right. So, whoops. Not what I meant to do. So let me just find that for you. So, okay, just before I go into that, Will, I'm just going to call you Will. Sorry. This is current standing, so I think me and Odal are more or less destined for a clash here, with completely different decks, which is kind of neat. Everyone's on even balance. We have had one player drop, so someone's going to start getting a bye. Fake Kenny is on 2 draws. Oh, yeah. So I actually would say something like, sorry, 1 second. Just need to clear a notification because I've got a broken brain. Something like Masterwork Boomerang, Q Loop. Like, these are not really value cards. This is a unique engine that changes the way the runner plays the game. It changes when they install their cards. Dunch. Yeah, so apparently a lot of people are not like, there's a so Dunch, the reason standings are very high is a couple people are basically hoarding all of the wins. So yeah, so Will, pure value is stuff like, oh, every runner is just about making credits and playing good breakers. But you can have stuff like, oh, Boomerang changes the way you break cards. We in Gateway, Botulus changes the way you break cards. But there have been other stuff. So there's also like, all corps are more or less value corps as well. Like, we don't actually see combo fast advance. We don't see fast advance in startup really. So like, I just did a video about where is it? I should have it somewhere. Oh, I have it in JNet, right? So I should let's see. Apologies for a moment. It's going to take me a second to find. So this is Faster Biotics. This was a deck that I didn't think of this as a combo deck until someone called it that. But the idea is like you have AstroScript Pilot Program, Biotic Labor, San City Grid, and so your goal is just that you will fast advance all of your agendas, and you can do it with almost no credits, and you do it while trying to spam out remotes, sort of to keep the runner and give you long term enough, just enough econ edge into the mid game. And so the way you played against this deck was very, very different than the way you played against another deck that was played at basically the same time, which was Food Coats. These two decks, this Food Coats list and this NEH list, are very different. This is what I would call a value deck. And I think value decks are really an important part to be, they are an important slice of any Netrunner meta. Like, as much as I'm like ragging on them right now, basically this is saying, oh, this deck was trying to say, runner, if you can't answer my stuff efficiently, I will grind you down with my, at the time, hyper efficient ice suite that is Eagle Eye, Architect, some Ichis, a one of Toll Booth, and I'll use Caprice Nisei as sort of that era's Anoetic Void. And so it's saying, as the runner, you just can't keep up with this amount of value. But you can have decks that circumvent from the runner side what value looks like. So this was Whiteblade's Counter Surveillance Liza, and it says, I'm going to make a ton of money on account siphon. Oh, this is actually an Eternal list. Whoops. So Eternal is full of these sort of non-standard win conditions or non-value based. So this is the actual Liza list that Eric played. And the idea is this list wants to slow the corp down with corporate grants and diversions of funds, and then it just tries to get a bunch of tags and go for a big counter surveillance wombo. And you've had decks in the past like Diaper that used false, that was like trying to do some kind of combo, so the corp like couldn't win if they didn't win by a certain point in time. And so when I talk about value, the idea is all of the like the quintessential value, or like one of the quintessential value decks is actually Big Max. Big Max is just saying, I just want to draw there's no tricks in this list. It's 3 breakers. Botulus is like the one like trick card that isn't just converting money into accesses. Every other card in this list is converting money into accesses. I guess also maybe the Solset Slums is not converting money into assets. But this is a 60 card list. Mad Dash, Solset Slums, Botulus are the cards that don't give you money, draw cards, or like give you an extra access in a very linear way. And so this is like the epitome of value. It's just this runner is about making the most money the most efficient way. And this is a fun way to play Netrunner sometimes, but I want to spice it up. And all of Startup, this is the runner you can build. You build a worse version of this because it's Startup, but you can't really build. So like I built for Standard 2 weeks ago, this Geist at Home list. And this list doesn't play, yeah, Polop, you're right, Dunch is a good trick as well. I was going a little too fast here, right? This list doesn't play, like it does play breakers, but a bunch of the cards here don't break ice, right? Like I have Spy Camera as my way to know should I run R&D. A lot of my econ is in Tech Trader, which requires me to build my deck a whole different way. So like this to me, while every runner deck or every deck in Netrunner has to like follow some fundamental rules of it has to be able to make money, it has to be able to draw cards. But to me, a reg deck is defined by saying, really the only thing I'm doing is, and Von Solites, I will answer your question in just a moment. I just want to finish this thought. Everything, reg decks are saying everything I'm doing is just making money and playing efficient cards. And then the way I'm going to win is just I have the fewest possible slots set up to a win condition, but most of how I win is just taking smart single accesses. Whereas something like this list doesn't have to take single accesses at random. It can say, oh, I'm going to use Spy Camera to look at the type card of R&D, see that it's an agenda, and make a run. Or I see it's not an agenda, and I don't make the run. And, it's also got weird stuff like Prognostic Q Loop and Masterwork to do lots of draws and installs in the middle of a run, which, like, yes, technically are your driving value. You're saving clicks and credits and turning credits into clicks and clicks into credits and drawing it does resource conversion because ultimately Netrunner has a lot of board game centerpieces to it, but it's sort of non-value, and I can also look at something like one of my favorite decks of all time that I will play until the day it dies. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so I just got to go up a little bit. Actually, let's just see if I can find the worlds. Oh, I didn't mark it as worlds. That's unfortunate. This list, which isn't exactly correct, but like this is a reconstruction contract dedication ceremony. So this is a combo corp list where its goal is to score an efficiency committee, and then it scores its remaining 5 points in a single turn. And so that to me is like very non-standard value. And it's much more combo. And there's just no combo present in startup. There's no combo present in in startup for runners or corps basically at all. So gateway. So yeah, given that startup. So going back to your question, Von Solites, startup is drawing a lot of new players. Do you think that focus on value is a good idea for onboarding new players? I'm actually going to disagree with Simply. I think yes. I think the game is one of the strengths of Netrunner is that the core gameplay is actually a lot of fun, and even though it can be very Euro engine-y when you play too much of it, it's a really exciting engine, and it has a lot. The one of the great things about Netrunner is that you have lots of randomness built into the system that just change up the game. Can change up the game a lot from game to game. Oh, that's the end of the intermission. So Gateway continued that trend, and I think Gateway kind of had to continue that trend because that is kind of the core ideas in Netrunner. At least it's how it's been played for the last 4 years, probably. The original core set had many more haymakers and diverse mechanisms for victory, and I think Borealis is going to move in that direction, but I don't know. And we're waiting for it to come out to see what it actually does. But Deep Dive does suggest some really different ways to win the game. So yeah, I think you're exactly right. What I want is more haymakers, more alternate strategies that don't just say, "Can I break all your ice and beat a skunk void or not?" So, all right. Let's put up round 5. All right. And then I'm going to run to the restroom real quick because I didn't get to take my intermission. So I will be back in a second. All right. Yeah, I had a thought as I was going to the restroom, where basically, I guess one thing I want to see a little bit more of a Netrunner is right now it's like when I install two cards that have synergy, um, you get the advantage that you get is, oh, I save 1 to 4 credits because of the synergy. Whereas there have been decks in the past that's when I get these two cards down, suddenly I make money off of breaking your ice and drawing cards. And that dramatically changes the way the game plays. And I want to see people sort of I want to see the game. I want to see both players radically change the direction the game go. Have the tools to radically change the direction of the game. Now, it should probably require multiple cards. It should require installing and setting up and interacting with the other player. Like, I enjoy playing Diaper. I don't think Diaper is healthy or desirable state for the game to go towards. Um, so, um, um, and also, I should do the good streamer thing. Hey, Blue Player, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for chatting. And also, Labatum, thanks for subscribing or following, hearting, whatever it is. Hearting, not subscribing. I don't think I'm allowed subscribers. I'm too teeny tiny. So, uh, but. uh, all right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Timer 35 minutes. Round 5. All right, Built to Last. This is an interesting, kind of slow hand. Um, but it's got got like a good first turn, and we need to find draw early. Let's go for it. Yeah, I don't think full diaper is great, but I do think runners being able to be a clock on the game, to I think Corpse having the option to be like, oh, I can grind out the game and just sort of outvalue runners is kind of unexciting. I think if it's grind, like, oh, I'm going to do net damage, it can actually be really good gameplay. I think I want the Earthrise down first here. Interested to see what Odal's doing here. At some point, actually, I need to start face checking, I think. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to Bravado HQ. Unbroken Subroutine's fire. No instant speeds here, so worst case here is an Urtica, I guess. Oh, Overrider, fine, sure. Alright, so we're going to play this sort of game. Got it. Good to know. We did lose 2 of our breakers, which is unfortunate. I don't know that I care just yet. We're going to draw and install a daily cast. This is maybe an Aket. Not really sure. But I also think, like, along with runners needing win conditions, I think the fact that there's no real kill decks in startup is a little bit silly to me. All right, so we're just playing silliness. This is where you need a doof. Ugh. Okay. This is not my favorite kind of netrunner to play, but you know. All right. Let's do this. And we're going to hit this. Oh, no, we can't hit a snare and die here, so that's good. Yeah. We'll just do this. Yeah, I guess the thing my rationale there was, all right. If that was a clearing, like if that was a cerebral AI, I'd rather access it earlier than later. But yeah, I mean, we're basically not going to win this game now, and that's okay. That happens. Yeah, we do also tie the snare here, which is going to be in the list probably. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm like, this is the card I think should never have been reprinted, but that's fine. I'm not even like. So my actual thinking was, oh, if it's install advance, like if it's install advance, and then advance another time, I can't check it and sometimes just die outright. Whereas in this board state, I can still play around things. Like I can draw, run R&D to try and avoid snares, stuff like that. Sure. So this might be another Kayombe grid. Yeah, I mean the thing I actually need to do is somehow trash all the Jacksons, but that's just probably not happening this game. So let's start 5 strength. Ugh, this is annoying. If I just say this isn't Colossus, if it is Colossus, do I just lose? Yes. Do I lose if I take 4 credits? Probably not, right? 11, go down to 8. That's plenty. So we'll just go Bing, and then we'll run HQ. Actually, we run R&D instead, because we can threaten to go through here. I'm gonna actually, I think, let the unbroken subroutines fire here. I don't think I want to pay 1,000,000 credits here. I think maybe it's run HQ. So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 6, and then spend another 4, so that's 10 to get a single access. So no, thank you. Feels like, well, could that be the third Urka? Definitely could. It's probably a spin doctor. Yep. We'll run archives here. We'll let Unbroken Subroutines fire here. I might do Atman 1. That's kind of bonkers here. No, in the future I'll just do something slightly smarter than that. Okay, so it's going to be bingo, bango. Because now we can security testing. Well, fuck this. Okay. Oh yeah, you really can't use Atman versus Ice Walls. I forgot about this. So it's more likely to be something I do care about than to be a cerebral. Thing is, I lose if this is a cerebral or a clearinghouse. I guess I don't lose if I check it and it's a clearinghouse, but hey, there we are. Some points. And we'll just gain some credits and see if we die. GG. Alright, well, sometimes you guess wrong on 3 different install double advances. So it goes. All right, let's see how table 2 is doing. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, sometimes your opponent has 2 cerebral overriders and you have no way to dodge them, and it just kind of sucks. But yeah, I guess I should have done the math and been like, yeah, it's more likely for that to be a clearinghouse, and just roll the bones, and just decided to not roll the bones that time. So that's unfortunate, but no, startup doesn't really need falsifieds. I mean, like, to me, clearinghouse is an abomination of a card, but I'm not gonna like. Odal played a very reasonable deck. I did not play it against it particularly well. Yeah, I guess I probably should just leave that, right? But anyway, we've got yet another PD versus Reg Anarch. Looks like losing at Stargate probably seems like a pretty big deal, along with scoring an agenda out of a double barrier remote. Seems like it's not too likely to happen most of the time halfway through the stack, but did happen this time, which is, definitely very good for Longi here. Um, and it looks like actually we might finish in 3.5 hours, which is pretty good for one of these events. So, okay, it's gonna be just under 4 with a big break, but that's okay. So it goes. All right, so this game's definitely edging towards Longi, but not over yet. Looks like there is a little bit of stuff going on in the chat. I'm gonna grab some water and be right back. All right. Doing all the installs here. Installing in server 1, pretty threatening. Do we see an advance in another card? We see a hedge. Do we see an install in front of server 1? Or just saying you don't have a barrier breaker, which might be a good play. What will we see? Even with a barrier breaker, I mean, this does cost a lot, but like Corroder, click liberated twice, click liberated once, and go in twice. Probably is doable. Maybe if they hadn't chunked themselves out by hitting another liberated, maybe. Yeah, it seems like we've basically just failed to draw Corroder, I would assume. Maybe Cleaver. Is this double seamless? Nope. Birds for 12. Pretty good. Pretty good. But still plenty of points left for Groundhog to win here. I feel like, though, with the way this is set up, you should be running archives because that turns on drip for you. I guess it's sort of the same. Yeah, running HQ does seem pretty reasonable, though. But really no barrier breakers is pretty brutal for Groundhog here. All right, we're seeing a fully op in HQ. Maybe a card I could have considered, though I think red level clearance is probably going to do more for me most of the time. Though here it's quite nice, right? Because you can draw 4. I mean, the main problem of Anarch in startup is that they don't have the power cards, right? Like Anarch is really balanced around standard. I would say more so relative than other factions. And I don't think every faction needs a tutor, though. If you're not going to have a tutor, you need lots of card draw. And one of the centerpieces of, well, there's two centerpieces of Anarch Draw, which are Max and I've Had Worse. And neither of those are available in Startup. But if you printed really good Anarch Draw available for Startup, you probably break Standard. And like, this is sort of why Startup honestly is probably always going to be a little bit uneven. Yeah, Peddler and Inject were really good draws. All right, so we're gonna just score out the Vacheron. 9 points in the corpse score area. So yeah, it's like Startup is always gonna be a little bit tricky because it's always gonna be balanced for Standard, which means it's assuming there are cards in the card pool and synergies in the card pool that maybe rein in the theoretical power if you just had Startup as your primary format. And as someone who plays a lot of Standard, I'm thankful for that, though I realize I'm running a tournament for Startup specifically, and a lot of people really enjoy Startup, so I'm not trying to discount that in any way. So, how much time is left in the round? Is it really 16 minutes left in the round? No way. Wow. Our first, I mean, when you flatline yourself, I guess it doesn't take very long. I hate Mushin Notion. I think it's a very dumb card. Um, it's just quite interesting, quite uninteresting to me. Um, but I don't like that style of gameplay, as you might have guessed by the previous game. I'm just not very big on the Yomi. I like Yomi. I like bluffing Yomi of this could be like, I like more emergent Yomi than forced Yomi. And like Mushin is just like, we're gonna Yomi and like flip a coin and like la di da. Whereas like oh, these are two really good runners and they're trying to bluff having cards ice on the board or cards in hand. Oh yeah, Simply Onion. I just saw that. I was thinking about that last night. Yeah, we do have to play our Eternal match at some point. Probably not right after this stream. Let's try and do it sometime tomorrow. But all right, so here we are, Mondo Green, running server 1. This could be I mean, could quite plausibly be void, because that seems to be what every single corp is on in Startup, except I guess not every, but Managarm is much more reasonable for Mondo Green to handle here. Project Beal, trash the Managarm. So Steve's maybe in an okay place. It'll be interesting to see, is the Steve on, okay, it's on Forged, which is interesting. Forged and Tread Lightly. And that's presumably a Bologna immediately slammed into server 1. You're basically never running HQ here as Steve, so you kind of don't have an ID. It's fine, Onion. I'll just play, here's the thing. You can play Shell Game against me, and I think I can beat you. Because I'll bring Diaper, and I don't have to access any cards. I just mill you all out in one turn. I guess I may not be able to do the full mill because I can't safely encore, but I could probably keyhole you. I mean, there's nothing to stop me just setting it all up, right? So I just install all of the pieces. Yeah, so no, Dunch, the idea with Diaper is that you use, and I'm sorry, this is so not startup friendly. Um, you use False Echo, which is this card that was really, really bad, like, and basically was always really bad. Um, and it says whenever you pass an unres piece of ice, you may trash False Echo. If you do, the corp must res the ice or add it to HQ. Okay, I guess this could be like an econ denial card kind of thing. But then you also add DDoS, which says the outermost piece of ice cannot be res on any run this turn. And so the combo is you pop a DDoS, so now the corp can't res their ice. You false echo to bounce the card back to their hand, and then you just reinstall a false echo with a clone chip or a simul chip and do it again. And so the idea is you just do all of that, and then you find some ways to not access R&D, instead to trash cards and mill them out, and you just win the game all in one turn. And that's more exciting to me than this. For what I hope are unsurprising reasons. Runner doesn't get in here. They're short a credit. They're short, yeah, quite a bit of credit. Well, they would need 3 credits here. Yeah, that's not how it actually works, but I no judge has been called here. So in the future, you have to resolve Gold Farmer. The always break, auto breaking, will work even with too few credits. Is supposed to be a reminder text on there for both players. So just a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, reboot. I think there's things I would enjoy about reboot. I'm not 100% on board with the big boy's philosophy, and I think there's some fun stuff that he decided can't be part of the game at Netrunner, and that's fine. That's his prerogative, and I'm glad there's people that enjoy it. So, um, um, oh, I wonder if they figured the thing out on the call and are just because they're probably in a call together. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh no, they are. So they might have just sorted out the math right there. So um, there's things I really enjoy about like that 2015 era of Netrunner that Big Boy is trying to recreate. And there's a reason that almost all of my record reconstructors are of decks from that era. It's because those were decks that people enjoyed the most. Um, or that those were some of the most, that was like Netrunner's most popular peak. And part of that was because the decks were really fun and really enjoyable. So wanting a slightly better balanced version of that era of Netrunner is good, or is a very reasonable thing. It's maybe not quite what I wanted out of Netrunner, but that's okay. Anyways, so Mondo Green managed to rip a off-world office on that run, but Close de la Roche is now threatening the win in server 1 with potentially another Beal. I see my dog making noises running around the house with her new squeaky toy she loves very much. Um, One sec. All right, we have the Kushuk, which seems to be the runner's preferred way of trying to close games, which makes a lot of sense in this format. And because the games are slightly slower, it is a pretty reasonable out against precision design here, or not precision design, but whatever. Yeah, the dog is definitely having a lot of fun here. Now we see if this is another, probably the last. I guess there could be more beals, but probably not. Okay, so just icing everything up, and single advanced server 1 is threatening wins in a bunch of ways. Yeah, squeaky toy, pound for pound, best game of all time, I think. Um, all right. So as Mondo, this is a hard server to run, right? This costs 1, 3, 4, 5. You have to boot. So yes, it's 6 to break total booth, 7 to go to there. This could be a Manigarm or a Void. We're gonna Laundry HQ. This is negative credits, and there's not going to be any agendas in there. Are we just hoping to get something back that wins us the game? Maybe it's saying I didn't see enough agendas in R&D, so maybe there's something in HQ. Or, oh, grabbing 2 overclocks seems okay. That makes this run probably slightly credit positive for you if you don't care about the corpse credits. I feel like that's got to be the play, right? Excuse me, got a little chill. Yep. So we see penny shaver click into an overclock. Free to play. Strength 6 is annoying. Carmen breaks it. That's sort of the worst possible break point for Carmen. You sort of have to break it. Or you have to break one subroutine. Maybe you just break one. Or, oh no, you just pay 2 here. Yeah, you just pay 2 credits. This is an easy one. Yeah, and then you let a tag go, and then you keep going. So the question will be, there's not enough to steal a Bologna here. There's not enough to beat a Manigarm. So you just have to hope that this is not one of those cards, but I don't know what else it could possibly be here. 4 minutes left on the round. Um, and it's a void. Yeah, I wonder, just knowing this is almost certainly a void, if the line is actually to go for R&D there, where it's not guaranteed. It's low likelihood, but probably actually the right play. All right, last table. Maybe these people are done, which would be great because I forgot I had to go to a virtual wedding soon, or rather slightly misscheduled things. So I have to hope my last round is quick. All right, so we've got we have a kit, and we've got a Gordian Rizeki Leech Ottman kit. That's a pretty wild setup. With boomerangs, makes a lot of sense. boomeranging through an engram. You've been using the Artist, which is a card I'm not wild about. Though I've seen it a surprising amount in the last couple of days. Do you break? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter which of these you break it with. Oh right, because you can't get through that. That's quite unfortunate. This is quite the credit slog, though. I didn't notice that. 2 credits and 4 credits. Excuse me. Yeah, I almost wonder if you want to look at like a. Yeah, you still need to boomerang Engram. Yeah, I mean like Engram's just a busted piece of ice, and once it's gone, that'll be good. Um, I guess now Fake Kenny can go in. They can actually pick their remote, either server 2 or R&D. I think server 2 might be more valuable generally. Excuse me. Okay, Maker's Eye seems like a solid play. I feel like you don't see a lot of 5/3 near Earth hubs. It's a weird idea to do that out of. Um, it's a very odd idea to do that out of. I also think as Fake Kenny, you have to save this for a turn because you cannot steal a Bologna here. So you're either should be contesting server 2 because it's a 3/2, or not contesting this at all because you cannot steal here and win. Oof, trashing a Maryland seems even worse. um, and now you see, is this the 1/3/2 in the list for Frizzler? Looks like it. Yes, it is. That's the game. And that perfectly in time. All right. Um, that was a Corp win, I believe, but um, one second. Okay. Well, I think I most likely will not be able to play my round 6 game in 15 minutes. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop. I will put this stream on the top table, um, and try and check, keep an eye on it, or at least commentate until I have to leave. Um, so give me 1 second to see. Okay, everyone's reported. Literally Corp won every single round that that round, which is pretty wild. Um, oh, I have to say it's the Discord. Hey everyone, so unfortunately I'm running a little bit late, so I may not be able to play. I don't think I'll be able to play in this final round, but I will still be able to run it and close it out and probably check in. I just sort of have to show my face at a virtual wedding, so um, I mean, I want to, but it is a good friend. And I think I would not hear the. Well, let's see. You know what? I might have a way to do this. I might just not be able to stream and vote and talk during it, but All right. You know what? Let's just if I can get if I can finish in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we'll get it sorted out. If not, I'll figure out a way. Because who doesn't love shirking responsibilities? Um, all right, pairing up the final round. I know I have to drop. My opponent is going to get a nice free win anyway. So, um, okay. So let's get it going. Um, oops, wrong one. All right, I'm going to go put on a fancy shirt. I will be back in a moment. Apologies to the stream. I'm going to shut you down. So.